Dig it.
Slow drag with remedy. Ballyhoo and welcome. The Passion Project continues. My name is Remedy Robinson, and this is an appreciation. This is an exploration of linguistics, language, and how to harness the power of world weariness as framed by the peerless poetry of the modern day master, Elvis Costello. Today's slow drag is with Pretty Words from Trust, released in 1981. The songwriting is credited to Elvis Costello. It's a piece that bemoans fanciful words. At the same time, it deploys all the charm and wit that these clever combinations of words can elicit. It's a piece that seems to perfectly encapsulate the reported wild mood swings battled throughout the recording process of Trust. Somewhere not too far from mania and not too close to a hangover lies these pretty words that form several vignettes of how exactly they don't mean much anymore. I ask you nicely, get my face slapped under wraps. What's going on precisely? Is there something wrong, perhaps? These clever words start with a bit of a conundrum. What's it like to be slapped under wraps? Doesn't under wraps mean secretively? Or could it be some sort of blanket we're hiding under? It's one of the few times I'd venture to guess that the phrase fits the rhyme well, and if it creates something confounding, all the better. Nicely and precisely form the start of each staggered rhyme in this first verse. They're doing a lot of work for simple adverbs. We don't know what was asked nicely, so we're all in the same boat, wondering what's going on. The narrative is able to go anywhere from here, and it does. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. It's more like a booby trap than a booby prize. Civil disobedience from a soldier with a dirty rifle. You're loosening all the screws that hold the hinges of my life. Fat cats and army brats, het cats and dog tags, pawing over dirty mags. The dull echoes of surprise accentuate the sarcasm as it launches into an innocent yet tawdry list of words and phrases. Booby trap can make us snigger, and a dirty rifle can make us jeer, thinking of your life as a door at the mercy of whoever wants to open, close it, or take the hinges off. The list at the end of the verse, which will be repeated throughout this piece with comparable groupings, sounds very much like the train of thought that can be found nearby on Clubland. Fat cat, army brat, hep cats, and dog tags has the familiar patter of the boys next door, the mums and dads, new weds and nearly deads. No need to get too comfortable in this verse's worldscape, however, since it's about to be usurped by the chorus, losing its train of thought by the time the next verse arrives. Pretty words don't mean much anymore. I don't mean to be mean much anymore. All I see are snapshots, big shots, tender spots, mug shots, machine slots, till you don't know what's what. You don't know what you've got. The verbal somersaults of I don't mean to be mean much anymore both exemplifies how gorgeous words can be and confirms how difficult it can be to keep track of what they're actually meant to convey. All these words represent snippets of life as they blur by, as if from a fast moving bus or limousine. Clearly written in a heady time, it's reasonable to see how it's difficult to not know what's what. Curious women running after curious men. Curiosity didn't kill the cat, it was a poison pen, but there's not much choice. It's Hobson's choice between a cruel mouth and a jealous voice. I can only speak for myself, of course, but it's familiar lines like these that seem to have embedded themselves deep under many Elvis Costello fans' skin, like a tattoo needle prick or the gray lead from a sharp pencil that's been stabbed into your wrist. The verse uses a recursive adjective to describe the foolish act of adventure, which in itself is curious. Then it fades into a noun statement of how the pretty words of a sharply written piece is to blame for all the above mentioned attraction. But there's not much choice, Mr. Costello writes, just before going on to cite the technical name for a choice. It's a Hobson's choice, meaning that there is no choice. Having no choice, as it were, actually means that there are two choices: take it or leave it. This phrase's etymology is a little murky, but one of the origin stories that helps to define what a Hobson's choice is comes from a 17th century man from Cambridge who rented horses named Thomas Hobson. Renters were not permitted to choose their own horse. Instead, they were only permitted to rent the horse closest to the stable door. Therefore, it was on a take it or leave it basis. On a side note, Hobson's, I read, is a Cockney rhyming slang for the word voice. Hobson's choice, voice. What does a Hobson's choice add to the final line of choices in this verse between a cruel mouth and a jealous voice? Is it all or nothing then? Got back to London, picked a paper from the mat. No words of consolation, just cartoons and chitter chatter. Well, well, fancy that. Millions murdered for a kiss me quick hat. No back blown, blood and guts. Better keep your big mouth shut. Ah, the wonderful mundane futility of it all. In a much later piece, Mr. Costello will go on to observe that travel broadens your mind till you can't get your head out of doors. Well, it seems to begin with a slight disconnect from what we see for ourselves and what we are told by the media and other sources. As with the stanzas before it, this fourth verse deploys the device of the quick cut world of lists. Or in this case, perhaps it goes on to delineate what's gone unseen by many. The cartoons and chitter chatter have edged out the real news of the world. Millions murdered for a kiss me quick hat, no backbone, blood and guts. It's such a lyrical way to express destruction. Whose big mouth do you suppose needs to keep shut? Well, let's just thank whatever's in the sky above that didn't happen. Pretty words don't mean much anymore. I don't mean to be mean much anymore. All I see are snapshots, big shots, tender spots, machine slots, mug shots, till you don't know what's what. You don't know what you've got. Dig it. Again, this has been a slow drag with pretty words from 1981's Trust. It certainly can be thought of as a meta piece of writing, drilling into how the poetry of rock and roll might sometimes be washed over by all the loud noise. I can imagine this is part of the DNA of Pretty Words, but with its 40-year and counting shelf life, it's clear there is more to the story. I'd venture that it's in the inscrutability that has become so endearing about this piece. And despite how well I thought I knew this piece, doing a slow drag with it helped to add even more layers. In particular, the addition of Hobson's choice of having no choice when in actuality there are two choices. Did you know this was the line? Or, like me, had you always assumed it was structured as the repetition like surprise, surprise in the previous verse? And that's it for today's slow drag, my friend. Thank you for listening. Other gems from Trust you'll enjoy a slow drag with are episodes 18, Rowdiest but Slightest. It's a slow drag with Luxembourg. Episode 41, Money's Gone Already. It's a slow drag with the incomparable Clubland. And episode 66, A Lifer at Large. It's a slow drag with Fish and Chip Papers. You can reach me on social media in all the usual places. I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Just search for my name, Remedy Robinson, or the name of my podcast, Slow Drag with Remedy. You can also find The Most Terrible Time in My Life Ends Thursday. That's my first book. Also visit slowdragwithremedy.com for companion blogs, transcripts, and other useful information. And as always, please take the time to subscribe and give this a 5-star rating, especially on Apple Podcasts. As always, thank you so much for helping get the word out about this little passion project. Truly, it means the world. So, until next time, adieu, my little ballyhoo. Slow drag with Remedy.